The Reserve Bank governor announcing, of course, that they have decided to cut interest rates by 25 basis points. That, of course, being the decision of the Monetary Policy Committee. Let's get some reaction now, first from the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group and its program coordinator, Mervyn Abrahams, who joins us now. Mervyn, a very good afternoon to you. Most people had predicted that they would keep the interest rate where it was, and against that, they've taken the steps, 25 basis points.
So good afternoon, Vuyo, and good afternoon to all your listeners and viewers. Vuyo, we were of the opinion that there is space for the Reserve Bank to cut interest rates, and so we are happy that at least it was a 25 basis point cut. We believe that there was even the possibility of a 50 basis point cut, because inflation is well below the Reserve Bank's band, as well as the fact that the South African economy requires an injection of liquidity. We require more a break for households so that they can build up savings if they're able to, or spend more in the economy, as well as for businesses to be able to invest in the economy. And so this is good news, and we hope that this cutting of interest rates will continue, and hopefully inflation will remain as low as it is now.
I'm keen to know though why, people had hoped and wished, the wish granted, but didn't seem to think that the Reserve Bank, would have it in them to actually do it.
Well, the Reserve Bank has, in the past, particularly the last 6 months, have been in this direction and that direction. There were, of course, a global uncertainty, particularly around the US and its tariff policy. So there were a bit of global uncertainty, and it is right for the Reserve Bank to be cautious and to look at geopolitical factors as well as international economic factors such as US tariffs and its potential impact on the global economy. But from a South African internal point of view, our inflation is at 2.6%, well below the band. The country is struggling our economy is struggling to grow, so it does need an injection of lower debt servicing charges, so that money that was spent on debt servicing can now be spent either on household savings or consumption or on business investment in order to possibly lead to grower economic growth. So those were the two factors, and we were of the opinion that the Reserve Bank should look at our domestic situation and our need for economic growth, because without growth, we will not be able to expand employment, and that is really what the country needs going forward.
You've touched on the governor mentioned our fundamental vulnerabilities, which we still have.
Yes, so there are a number of vulnerable areas. There always will be, in the sense that the South African economy finds itself on its back foot. But we have to make a decision to get ourselves towards growth. And one of the factors to get towards growth is lower interest rates. Because with lower interest rates comes the possibility for greater investment in the economy. And it seems that is where the Reserve Bank went, even considering that there are vulnerabilities both locally as well as globally. But a 25 basis point allows the Reserve Bank at least the space to deal with some of these vulnerabilities as we go forward.
Well, he did also reveal that there is work that is ongoing precisely because the inflation target is too high, or not only is it too high, but also too wide. But they have not decided yet as to which target to adopt. But does that give you hope that at the very least there are ongoing conversations where it matters?
Yes. So it seems to us that the Reserve Bank should come up with a firm proposal, which they should put in the public space for debate. And then we can really debate as to which numbers we fall on. Currently, to have between 3 and 6% is quite a wide margin. So we agree with that. But it really would be where the bottom point of that band the Reserve Bank would place that bottom point of the band, because if it is too low, it would also harm the economy. So it's really going to be up to a debate to see where really the magical numbers will be, and it's difficult to say that without actually having a firm proposal on the table.
Well, he's given us some homework. They're going to release a whole lot of papers from their conference, as well as papers that the Reserve Bank staff have also put together, as well as additional papers by Treasury and other people. But all that, said, do you find solace in him or revealing or saying that, or making the admission that previously they have, or we have made some policy mistakes, which suggests that out of those papers and all the discussions that would have been heard, there's an acknowledgement that in the past some mistakes were made, which will hopefully then inform whatever position might be taken at the end of it all?
Well, that is, we need to commend the governor for making that statement. It's not easy always to admit that mistakes were made in the past, but it's very clear to anyone working in this field that mistakes were made in the past. But now there is an opportunity to debate, release the papers, let us see what the thinking is within the Reserve Bank, let us see what is the thinking within Treasury, and let us begin to engage around that, because at the end of the day, all of us, our objective is to grow the South African economy in the quickest and the best and the most sustainable way we can do that. And so I want to commend the governor for that, and hopefully that puts us on a better trajectory going forward.
Quick parting shot, Mervyn, if I may, we have run out of time. His answer was interesting when he was asked what they choose to focus on, or what, between fighting inflation and supporting economic growth.
It's a tough battle, really, because inflation has an impact on growth. If inflation gets out of control, then of course it eats away at our purchasing power. And that in itself is not a good thing. So we have to look at inflation, but we can carry a bit of inflation. So where the band gets set then becomes important. So for instance, if the band is set at between 2 and 4, it still gives us some movement. But we have to make sure that we grow our economy and we keep inflation low. And it seems to me that the Reserve Bank should try and do both. Because they are interlinked. They are not separate entities at all. And the one impacts on the other. Runaway inflation is bad because it takes away our purchasing power. On the other hand, high interest rates means that households are servicing debt and businesses are servicing debt rather than investing in either consumption or in business opportunities, both of which we need.
Mervyn Abrahams, thank you very much for your time and insights. Good news, he says, in that we can save more and we can spend more in the economy.